Remember that chill that ran down your spine the first time you heard the roar of a bloodthirster, or saw a mass of Imperial guardsmen charge headlong into an Orkwat? In Dawn of War? We all do. With the new Dawn of War 4 trailer igniting the fires of war once more, it's easy to get lost in the familiar clash of Space Marines and Eldar. But what about the whispers? The echoes of factions that almost were, or those whose stories were tragically cut short. Today, we're not just looking at the battlefield. We're delving into the shadows, uncovering the forgotten lore of those who never truly made it to the forefront of the Dawn of War saga. Our journey begins not with a bang, but with a whisper of betrayal. The Necrons, those ancient, soulless automatons, are a staple now, but their original introduction to Dawn of War was a masterclass in building dread. What many might not realize is how close we came to seeing a much earlier, more nuanced version of their awakening, intertwined with a forgotten Imperial outpost and a truly chilling secret. Picture this, a remote Imperial agri world, far from the Grand Crusade, its populace toiling away, unaware of the horrors buried beneath their feet. The initial design documents for the Necrons hinted at a campaign where an Imperial expedition, searching for lost STC technology, accidentally disturbed a Necron tomb world. This wasn't just about waking up metal skeletons. It was about a slow, creeping horror as the Imperial forces gradually realized the true, horrifying nature of their discovery. The tragic twist? The first Necrons encountered were often mistaken for a new type of xenos, or even a forgotten Imperial defense system gone rogue. Imagine the dread as comms went silent, outposts vanished, and the very ground began to hum with an unnatural energy. This slow burn, this descent into cosmic horror, was largely streamlined for the sake of the game's pacing, leaving behind a much more immediate, direct confrontation. But that was only the beginning. Our next forgotten faction brings us to the very edge of sanity. Remember the Tyranids in Dawn of War 2? A terrifying, relentless swarm. Now, imagine a precursor to that horror, a faction that was considered for the original Dawn of War, one that embodies the true, chilling nature of the void, the Hrud. These nomadic, time-bending xenos offer a unique brand of existential dread. The Hrud weren't just another enemy to shoot. Their proposed mechanics were utterly unique. They were envisioned as a faction that could manipulate localized time, aging buildings, units, and even the very terrain around them. Imagine your well-fortified base suddenly crumbling to dust, or your veteran squad rapidly deteriorating into frail huts. Their mere presence was a weapon, a slow, inevitable decay. Their lore is equally unsettling. They are a species constantly migrating, fleeing some unknown cosmic horror, leaving behind trails of temporal disruption and misery. While they never made it as a full playable faction, echoes of their concept of localized environmental decay and the slow grind of attrition might have subtly influenced some of the later game's mechanics, proving that even abandoned ideas can leave their mark. Now, let's talk about a faction whose story was not cut short, but dramatically reshaped, the Dark Eldar. While they eventually got their time in the sun with Soulstorm, their initial concept for Dawn of War 1 was far more insidious, deeply woven into the fabric of a much darker narrative. They were less about flashy raids and more about psychological warfare and the corruption of the human soul. Early designs for the Dark Eldar in the original game hinted at them being a lurking menace, not a primary antagonist. They were the puppeteers, whispering temptations into the minds of Imperial governors, orchestrating cult uprisings, and harvesting souls from behind the scenes. Imagine missions where you weren't fighting them directly, but uncovering their insidious influence, watching as a planet slowly succumbed to their dark promises. This approach would have given them a truly unique feel, emphasizing their manipulative nature and reliance on pain and despair. While their eventual implementation brought them into direct conflict, the lore of their more subtle machinations, their unseen hand, remains a fascinating what-if reminder that not all battles are fought with bolters and chains words. And then we have a faction that was almost foundational, a true cornerstone of the galaxy, yet largely overlooked in the Dawn of War series, the Adeptus Mechanicus. The tech priests of Mars, the keepers of knowledge, were always present in the background, but never truly given their own voice, their own army to command, their own story to tell. Imagine the strategic depth they could have brought, fielding ancient, forgotten technologies, summoning hulking Castellan robots, or deploying devastating Ordinatus engines. Their lore is rich with forgotten STCs, dangerous Cenotech, and internal schisms between different sections. A campaign focused on the Mechanicus could have explored the perils of forbidden knowledge and the true cost of technological advancement in the grim dark future. Their absence as a playable faction, especially given their vital role in the Imperium, feels like a missed opportunity to explore a different kind of war, one fought with logic, ancient rite, and the terrifying power of rediscovered machines. Perhaps with Dawn of War 4, the Omnicia will finally bless us with their presence, and we can delve into the mysteries of the cult Mechanicus. And finally, let's talk about the human factions that were nearly, or briefly, there in a more unique capacity. Beyond the familiar Imperial Guard, early discussions for Dawn of War explored the possibility of more specialized human sub-faction. Think the zealous Sisters of Battle, with their unwavering faith and terrifying flammers, or even the secretive, enigmatic Inquisition, operating from the shadows. The Sisters of Battle, while later introduced, were initially considered for the very first game, offering a unique blend of religious fervor and devastating close-quarters combat. Their lore of fiery purges and unshakable belief would have provided a stark contrast to the tactical flexibility of the Guard, truly showcasing the diverse faces of humanity's struggle in the 41st millennium. And the Inquisition? Imagine a campaign where you play as an Inquisitor, not just commanding armies, but investigating heresy, rooting out alien cults, and making impossible moral choices that define the fate of worlds. It would have been a different kind of strategy game entirely, one focused on intelligence, subterfuge, and the heavy burden of absolute authority. These aren't just forgotten units or discarded ideas, they are windows into the vast, untold stories of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Each what-if reveals a potential path, a deeper layer of lore that could have enriched our experience, making the grim dark future even more expansive and terrifying. The return of Dawn of War is more than just a new game. It's an opportunity to revisit these untold tales, to imagine what might have been, and to hope that perhaps, just perhaps, some of these forgotten factions might finally step out of the shadows and onto the battlefield in new and exciting ways. What forgotten faction do you wish had made it into the original Dawn of War, or that you hope to see in Dawn of War 4? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into the deeper lore of the 41st millennium, remember to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow, and ensures we can keep unearthing more of these hidden stories. For more journeys into the obscure corners of Warhammer lore, make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell rung. You won't want to miss our next deep dive, where we'll be exploring the mysterious origins of a certain Space Marine chapter that has always walked the line between loyalty and heresy. Until then, remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war and countless stories waiting to be told.